Hey everyone, if you're listening to this, chances are you're pretty into the whole AI thing, right?
Probably a safe bet.
It's kind of inescapable these days. But here's the thing. We're going to take a deep dive today into something that's happening behind the scenes at OpenAI.
Oh, this should be interesting.
It seems a bit counterintuitive even, given how much success they've had, especially since ChatGPT just blew up.
Right, they seem unstoppable. So what's the catch?
The catch is brain drain. Some seriously big names have been leaving OpenAI, not just a couple folks here and there either.
Oh, wow. So it's a real exodus, not just normal tech turnover.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to unpack today.
Yeah.
Who left, why, and what it might mean, both for OpenAI's future, but maybe for AI as a whole.
Yeah, in a field that's moving this fast, losing key people is a big deal.
It really is.
Yeah.
And the expertise these folks had, well, it's not easily replaced.
That's what we call institutional knowledge, right? It's more than just individual skills.
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. It's like knowing all the paths not to take because you already tried them or you saw someone else try them.
And in AI, where things are so complex, that's hugely valuable.
Absolutely. So let's get specific, right? Names and titles, the whole shebang.
Okay, hit me with it. Who are the big losses?
All right. We're talking 9 major departures this year alone. 9.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. And these aren't just any employees. We're talking Ilya Sutskever. He was their chief scientist, one of the founding minds of OpenAI.
Ah, so not just someone passing through, this was core to their identity.
Totally. Then there's John Schulman. Huge names in AI safety research. To put it in perspective, Sam Altman, the CEO, is one of only 2 Dewey left from the original team.
Wow, that's a seismic shift, almost like the company's DNA is changing.
Exactly. So how do we make sense of this exodus? Why are these folks leaving?
Well, if you look at their paths, their statements, it seems there are some patterns.
Oh, like what? Give me the rundown.
I'd say there are 3 main groups emerging, at least from what we know.
Ooh, categories. I love a good framework. Lay it on me.
Okay, so first we've got what I call the safety first group.
Safety first. Okay, intriguing. Who falls into that one?
This is Sutskever, and Schulman, all deeply involved in AI alignment.
AI alignment.
That-
Right, that's the whole making sure super intelligent AI doesn't wipe us out thing.
Exactly. It's not about making AI smart, it's about making it safe.
Like, you can have a super smart tiger, but if it eats your face, not so helpful.
It's actually a decent analogy, but yeah, much higher stakes than a tiger, obviously.
Right, existential threat and all that. So these guys were all about making AI safe, and they all left OpenAI. Is there a connection there, do you think?
Well, it's hard to say for sure, but here's something to consider.
Hit me with it.
All 3 of them went to Anthropic, a rival AI company.
Anthropic, right. I've heard of them. Aren't they founded by?
Former OpenAI people, yeah. So it gets even more interesting, right?
Yeah, like there's some kind of internal AI feud brewing. Different philosophies clashing.
That's one way to look at it, for sure. And then there's Sutskever's new startup.
Oh, right. Safe superintelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they just get a massive valuation?
$5 billion, which tells us something about how seriously investors are taking this safety issue.
Wow, so it's not just idealistic scientists worried about robots. Big money's paying attention.
It's both, really. And that interplay is fascinating, isn't it?
Totally. So we've got the safety first crew. What's the next category?
Well, I'm calling this one the New Horizons group. Think Andrej Karpathy. He led Tesla's autopilot, then went back to OpenAI, and then left again.
Oh yeah, Karpathy. He's a bit of a legend in the AI world, always doing something interesting.
Right. Peter Dang, their former VP of Consumer Product, is in this group too. And Mira Murati, their former CTO.
So a pretty diverse bunch. What connects these New Horizons folks?
Their reasons for leaving seem more individualistic. Karpathy's into personal projects now.
Dang, not so clear what he's up to next. And Murati, she's been talking about needing time.
Time to explore new ideas, she said. It's
That-
understandable, right?
Yeah, the AI world is intense. It's like running a marathon at sprint speed. You need to catch your breath, maybe change your shoes, or even find a new path entirely.
Exactly. And these are brilliant people, constantly pushing boundaries.
Burnout's got to be a real thing in that environment.
For sure. But even so, the sheer number leaving OpenAI is still notable,
You're
right?
It's not just 1 or 2 people saying, I need a break. It's a pattern.
Right. It makes you wonder about the internal dynamics at OpenAI. What's the culture like?
Okay, so that's 2 groups down. What's our final category?
Well, this one's a bit more mysterious. I'm calling them the Curious Case Group.
Ooh, mysterious.
Yeah.
I like it. Who are we talking about here?
This is Greg Brockman, OpenAI's president. He's officially on sabbatical.
Sabbatical, right. which in the AI world probably means building a secret AI in his basement.
Maybe. Then there's Bob McGrew, their former chief research officer, and Barrett Zoff, former VP of research, both pretty vague about why they left.
Vague, huh? That does make it curious. Any theories on this group?
Well, it's all speculation, but their departures raise questions about OpenAI's internal culture.
Right, like are there disagreements about where the company's going?
Potentially. Or maybe there's a deeper disillusionment beyond just needing a break.
Or maybe competitors are seeing an opening and poaching talent.
That's always a possibility in a hot field like AI. Lots of money flowing around.
Okay, so we've got our three groups: Safety First, New Horizons, and Curious Case.
Each telling a different part of the story, right? It's like a puzzle with multiple layers.
Totally.
Oh,
And it's
good.
not just gossip, it's giving us clues about where AI might be heading.
That's what makes this so fascinating. Individual stories connected to larger trends.
All right, so we've laid the groundwork, met our cast of characters, so to speak, but where do we go from here? What does all this mean for OpenAI for the rest of us?
That's what we're going to dive into next. Buckle up. Things are about to get interesting.
I am buckled and very intrigued. Can't wait to see where this deep dive takes us next.
So where do we go from here? What does all this talent leaving actually mean for OpenAI?
Right, because it's not just about the individuals, it's the bigger picture.
Exactly. Let's think about the potential fallout, the consequences.
Okay, so we've got OpenAI, they're riding high, right? ChatGPT is a global phenomenon. They're the name in AI, attracting investors, pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, from the outside, it's all roses. But then you see this steady stream of departures. And not just any departures, but key figures, leadership.
It's like watching a rocket launch and noticing a few bolts shaking loose. You're excited about the mission, but you also get this nagging sense of worry.
A very apt analogy. Because those loose bolts, they can cause problems down the line.
So let's talk specifics. What are the concrete ways this brain drain could impact OpenAI?
Well, first and foremost, they're losing vital expertise, right? And not just skills.
Right, we talked about institutional knowledge,
Yeah.
that deep understanding of how things work,
And why certain decisions were made, what pitfalls to avoid. That's gone with those people.
which means OpenAI might have to relearn some lessons the hard way, right?
Yeah, potentially. And that can be costly, both in terms of time and resources.
Okay, so there's the knowledge gap. What else should we be thinking about?
Well, leadership is crucial, especially in a fast-moving field like AI.
Right, you need people who can steer the ship, make tough calls, inspire teams.
Exactly. And replacing those leaders isn't just about finding someone with the right skills.
It's about finding someone who fits the culture, who gets OpenAI's vision.
And who can step into those big shoes and command respect.
Yeah, it's not an easy task.
Yeah.
So they've got these challenges, but they're not powerless.
Of course not. OpenAI has huge advantages still. Strong brand, cutting-edge tech.
Massive resources, tons of smart people wanting to work there.
Exactly. So they're not going to disappear overnight, but they do need to adapt.
So if you were advising OpenAI right now, what would you tell them to focus on?
Well, a few things come to mind. First, attracting and retaining top talent.
Right, because they've got to stem the flow of people leaving and bring in new blood.
But it's not just about offering the highest salaries, though that matters, of course.
It's got to be more than that, right? What else would make someone want to work at OpenAI?
Think about what motivates top performers. They want to feel their work has impact.
Like they're part of something bigger, not just building another widget.
Exactly. OpenAI needs to tap into that, re-emphasize their mission.
Which is, remind me again, what's their core mission statement?
To ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity.
Right, so it's not just about building cool AI, it's about doing it ethically, safely.
And that message might need some amplifying, especially after all these departures.
Yeah, because if people feel like the company's lost its way, they're more likely to leave.
For sure. Another thing OpenAI could do is cultivate a culture of innovation.
Okay, what does that mean in practical terms? How do you do that?
Encourage risk-taking, celebrate experimentation, even if it leads to failure sometimes.
Because failure is part of the learning process, right?
Yeah.
You can't innovate without it.
Exactly. And that kind of environment, it's attractive to top talent in AI.
Makes sense. So re-energize the mission, foster innovation. What else is on your list?
Partnerships. OpenAI can't do everything themselves. They need to collaborate.
With universities, other research institutions, maybe even other companies.
It's all on the table because the AI landscape is getting crowded and complex.
And some of the biggest challenges, like AI safety, those need a global effort, right?
Absolutely. OpenAI can't solve that alone. Nobody can. It's bigger than any one company.
So they need to be team players, work with others, share knowledge.
And that's not just altruistic. It's smart strategy. It helps them stay ahead of the curve.
So we've got these internal challenges at OpenAI, but it's also connected to the broader AI world.
It's all intertwined. What's happening at OpenAI is a microcosm of the bigger trends.
Rapid innovation, competition for talent, ethical dilemmas, the whole shebang.
And how OpenAI navigates these challenges, it'll be a case study for the whole industry.
All right, so we've gone deep on the problems, the potential solutions, but we haven't talked much about the why behind all this. Why are things changing so fast?
That's a great point. Let's shift gears and explore the underlying forces at play here.
Okay, so we've gone deep on the brain drain, talked motives, fallout, all that.
A lot to unpack for sure.
It is. But now I'm kind of curious what happens next.
The crystal ball gazing part.
Right. What could OpenAI look like in a few years? How do they bounce back from this?
Well, nobody knows for sure, but we can speculate, right?
That's what we're here for. Give me your best predictions.
Okay, so one thing I think we might see is OpenAI becoming more decentralized.
Decentralized. Now, what would that look like in practice?
Instead of everything being in one place, they might have multiple research hubs.
Oh, like satellite campuses,
Right.
each focusing on different aspects of AI.
Exactly. One hub could be all about natural language processing, another on robotics.
That's pretty smart, actually. It spreads the risk, taps into different talent pools.
Right. It makes them less vulnerable to future brain drains, too.
Because if one hub loses a few people, it's not a company-wide crisis.
Exactly. Plus, it could foster a more collaborative culture, less top-down.
Interesting. Okay, so decentralization. What else could OpenAI do to stay on top?
Well, attracting talent's one thing, but keeping them is another, right?
Yeah, they got to stop the bleeding, so to speak. How do they do that?
Money helps, of course, but it's not just about that. It's about purpose.
People want to feel like their work matters, that they're making a difference.
Exactly. OpenAI needs to re-emphasize their mission, their commitment to safe AI.
Right, because if people think that's getting lost, they're going to head for the exit.
It's about more than just building cool tech. It's about using it for good.
And that's something they were really good at communicating early on, wasn't it?
Totally. They need to recapture that spirit, especially now with all the competition.
Because there are lots of AI companies popping up these days, all vying for talent.
It's a hot market, and OpenAI needs to make sure they're still the place to be.
Makes sense. So decentralize, double down on the mission. Anything else?
Partnerships. OpenAI can't do it all alone. They need to collaborate more.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
With universities, other companies, whoever's got the expertise.
Exactly. The AI landscape is too complex now to be a lone wolf.
And some challenges, like AI safety, those need a global effort, right?
Absolutely. It's bigger than any one company, any one nation even.
So OpenAI needs to be more of a team player, work with others, share knowledge.
And that benefits everyone. It advances the field faster and more responsibly.
So we've talked about what OpenAI could do, but what about the bigger picture?
What do you mean?
Well, this brain drain, it feels like a symptom of something larger happening in AI.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just about OpenAI. This is an industry-wide shift.
Right. It's like AI is growing up. It's not a quirky research field anymore.
It's big business with all the good and bad that comes with that.
So we've got these ethical questions, the talent wars, rapid commercialization.
And it's all happening at warp speed. It's exciting, but also a little unnerving.
Totally. Like we're all on this roller coaster and nobody knows where it's going.
That's a good way to put it. We're all participants in this grand experiment.
And the choices we make now, they have consequences. We're shaping the future of AI.
Every decision, every line of code, every investment dollar, it all adds up.
So it's not just about OpenAI, it's about all of us. We need to be having these conversations.
Talking about ethics, about the impact of AI on society, on humanity itself.
Big questions, for sure, but ones we can't afford to ignore.
Exactly. The future of AI isn't predetermined. It's being written right now.
And hopefully, by talking about it, by engaging with these issues, we can help steer it in a direction that benefits everyone.
That's the goal, isn't it? To make sure AI is a force for good in the world.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, on that note, I think we've reached the end of our OpenAI deep dive. We covered a lot of ground, explored some fascinating ideas.
It's been a great conversation. Lots to think about, for sure.
Absolutely. And for our listeners, I hope this has sparked your curiosity about AI, because this is a story that's still being written. And who knows, maybe you'll be the one to write the next chapter.
Keep exploring, keep asking questions. That's how we make sure AI has a bright future.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks for joining us, everyone.